What is the best way for women to meet high quality men?
Well, the best, I think women need to, there's a lot of things. I'm not against internet dating. I mean, it's good for some, not good for others. There's pluses and minuses to everything. Uh, it's, what do you mean by high quality man? If you want a millionaire or a rich guy, go online for the rich guy sites. They've got them. But what you find is with the rich guys is typically the same. Actual qualities allows them to make a lot of money are not the qualities that allows you to have an intimate relationship. They're often going to be addicted to their work. They're often going to be rather alpha, dominant, and they're going to, unless they're educated. I'm an alpha, but I'm very educated. I'm lucky. I made my money. I made my success by understanding women. So not every guys get that. They get their success by being hardworking and not always thinking about other people's feelings, but primarily thinking about what they want and what they have to do. And whether it be positive or negative, there's two sides to everything, but then they're just more goal driven, and that can actually take you away from the marriage. So it's, again, what's a quality man? Basically, women are saying to me all the time is where are the conscious men? Okay, where are the conscious men? So based on that question, I wrote a book with a friend of mine called Conscious Men. And that's really a good book because it helps you identify quality men. Because quality men are like a diamond in the rough. Okay, it's a diamond in the rough. He needs to at least have a job for sure, and he needs to be able to take care of himself financially for sure. You need to spend time with him to get to know him, and you feel that there's an affinity, that you like him, but you're different. There's always going to be differences, creates the magnetism. You don't have to feel the attraction right away physically. That's usually a good sign. If it develops later, it can develop in the beginning. But if you have a history of men never calling back, and those men are men that you were turned on to right away, then you have a trust issue. You tend to get turned on by men you can't trust. So every time if you have a trust issue as a string of men who never call back, then you need to recognize that when you get turned on to a man, run the other direction. And when you're not turned on to a man and he's turned on to you, welcome the attention and let him pursue you. Even if you don't feel the attraction right away, that's the quality guy, the guy that wants you more than you want him. He has to earn his way in, and then you want him. Well, you'll attach later, but it takes a while for it to happen. That's the safety zone. Doesn't always have to be that way. Because there are no absolutes. Let's just say if you authentically knew all parts of you and you were turned on to a guy right away, there's maybe your intuition is that this is a safe guy for me, and he could be potentially the right guy for me. So, people always get into, well, where do I find this quality guy? It's not a matter of where you find it. It's finding the clarity inside of you of what's most important to you, not coming from a needy and desperate place. It's coming from a trusting place that the guys will find you for talking to women, but you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to go and put yourself in situations which are new and different. That means if you're not interested in going bike riding, that might be something you should go out and go bike riding. If you're always walking at the same time, then you should walk at another time. You need to constantly put yourself on a different stage, a different situation. You want to put yourself in situations where men are helping you. And the most important thing of all that is to not look for a soulmate. Look for somebody who would be fun. And I don't mean let's go have sex and romp in the bedroom. That could be whatever you wish, but it's a positive dating experience. You want to create a series of positive dating experiences. What this does, this provides the nurturing you need as to help you be patient for the right guy to pick you and for you to recognize the right guy for you. And that's a very, very important thing. A woman I was counseling, and she was dating guys, and she said, nobody really turns me on. I don't really feel like I need them and open them up. That's the one. And how do you pick, and well, first of all, she was way on her male side. You can't know the right guy for you until you start opening up and sharing your feelings. That's a real key thing. That's being receptive to having a guy. That's one. And two is creating dating experiences where you're not expecting or looking for the perfect guy. If you came to my house right now, you'd be, wow, you'd say, God, you live on a mountain, you got forest around you, a private driveway, you got a swimming pool. I mean, this amazing house. how'd you find this? That's what everybody always said. It took me 2 years to find it, till I actually walked up to the door of this house and knocked and made an offer. I just found the house I wanted. But it took 2 years, so that when I finally found it, I said, that's for me, and I'm going after it. So, but if you were to come to my house, you'd say, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. But if you were buying the house, you would take some time to look for termites and see some cracks in the foundation. You'd say, some of the sinks, they have to change this. You start looking at all the extra costs and the expenses and the problems and what are the challenges and who are the neighbors, and is this really the right time? The price, is it too much or not enough? What can I get? All that stuff comes into play, and that keeps your heart from being open. Now it becomes a business transaction. So many women go out on dates and it's a business transaction. They're checking out, as opposed to just create a series of positive dating experiences and trust that you will attract the right guy for you, and you will then recognize who the right guy is, because it often surprises you. I hear stories all the time of women who didn't even see this guy, would never even think of going out with this guy, and he was nicely pursued her and then became friends and then fell in love. Okay, and that's a whole dance in itself. I did throw in the little thing that you feel this friendship first, but that's where women start to feel some friendship with him. But there's something called friend zone. and that's what happens when guys go too far to their female side. They talk too much, and they share too much about their feelings, and they share too much about their problems, and they share too much about their history, and they always want to please her, and they're always available to her, and they'll stop their life for her. Too much pressure on her. She'll run the other way. You're also way out of balance. She wants to feel that you're happy on your own without her, and she delights you more. But you have your own needs, you have your own life. It's again 90-10 principle, and you come over to her like she's everything. You think that's going to win her over. It actually it scares her. She goes, oh my God, what if I reject this poor innocent little bird? Or she feels like, well, he's doing so much for me, now I have to do stuff for him. Oh my gosh, I have a life. I can't just to stop everything for him. And I know sometimes women, you get these needy guys, and they're so romantic. This is another version, but they give and they sweep you off your feet, and they do everything. They got it down, and they disappear. So you just have to, these guys actually could be trained. They have potential. And that's back to conscious men, is to realize a conscious man is a diamond in the rough. He's more conscious of his female side than your more traditional macho man who doesn't want you to have a job. So you got the guy who doesn't want you to have a job. He doesn't want you to be independent. He wants you to dress the way he wants you to dress. He wants to just have sex with you when he wants, and doesn't care about you that much. That's macho man, and he's busy in his career, and he might be super rich or whatever. He can be angry, he can be moody, all that. So that's your traditional kind of guy. Then you get the conscious guy. He has potential, but he hasn't learned to develop it. The only way as a man you actually develop your potential as a conscious man is through relationship, period. So all of the fully developed conscious men are married, and they're happily married. So that's right. When you say all the good men are married, they are. But there's all these conscious men who just need a good, smart woman to train them to be a great guy. And that's understanding these skills, which is, I went over them, don't try to change him. Find your happiness, give more of what he needs, not what you need, and then ask for more. Keep asking for what you want. That's the key to it, in small increments. And don't buy into his neediness. He wants to spend more time with you. No, I'm busy. Or he's getting all upset. You could talk to a friend. I don't want to hear all that stuff. I care about you, but I don't want to hear all that stuff. You need to talk to somebody else about that. Be bold. Do you want to hear about that stuff? No. So be honest about that. And he's going to get his feelings hurt. Let him take care of himself, but let him know, go with your guy friends. I know they can give you a lot more than what I can give you right now. I got to go be with my girlfriends. Okay. Create more space for him to find his own self-reliance, and then he'll keep coming back to you again and again and again. Gradually, you train him. That's what it takes. That's what you want. A soulmate relationship. A soulmate relationship is one way of describing it, and I think it's a very universally accurate way of describing it, is we have role mate relationships, which is where men and women, we're dependent on each other's roles. Today, we're dependent on each other for authenticity. So you're looking for a relationship that emotionally supports your authentic need to express yourself. Providing the emotional support that you need to fully express all parts of who you are. And man needs that, woman needs that. And that's a soulmate relationship. Then you get into esoteric stuff, which is, you know, I was destined to be married to my wife. I mean, we are partners in heaven coming to this earth to find each other. And you kind of go, well, if you believe in this stuff, I do. If you decide to get married before and now you're coming into this life, you have to learn certain lessons. It wasn't until I was 35 that I realized that she's the one for me. I met her several times before, thought she was great, loved her, but didn't marry her. I had to be ready. You have to be ready before you can recognize your soulmate. And we're both grateful that we learned a lot of lessons with other people before we met each other in the final way that we did at 35, which is when we got married, had a family, and you know, now it's been 31 years.
Yeah, that's a great point, John. It's definitely timing, not only meeting the right person, but what time you meet them.
Yeah.
Your life story definitely demonstrated that.
And you know, but I just to answer the skeptics, you know, they always say, well, you mean you're here in the world with all these billions of people and you're supposed to find one person? I go, yeah. It's like it's like we're all one on a spiritual level. The intelligence just draws us towards that person at the right time in the right place. And particularly for women, the right guy for you is going to notice you and want to be with you, but only if you're being you. You know, you're trying to be somebody else, they're not going to recognize you. You got to be authentic, and then things happen. That's what's often caused, and synchronicities are always happening in your life. The more authentic you are, aligned with your soul's mission and purpose, the more authentic you are, the more these lineups happen. And the more we have to be somebody other than ourselves, the lineups don't happen. And things are, you know, we're struggling in our lives. Not to say we don't struggle when we're lined up, because we all have lessons to learn, to overcome, learn to love more, learn to be patient more, learn to be true to ourselves, learn to not give up ourselves. You know, these are all like ABC's lessons we're all here to learn on this spiritual journey we're on.